Hello, one and all. Happy holidays. I hope everybody's Christmas was fantastic. Happy New Year. My name is Jarrod Flaherty. I'm joined by my co-host here, Conor Van Sice.
Indeed.
And this is the Cinema Vibes podcast, the best damn movie podcast on the entire planet. And it's the end of the year. We've seen a lot of movies this year, and that's going to be our general topic for today. It's just Conor and I once again. It's just honestly, it's just a convenience thing. And we're going to talk about our favorite movies of the year, and eventually we'll do a Cinema Vibes top 10 list of all of us kind of combined, and we'll vote on which one is the best between us five. But for right now, it's just my list. It's Conor's list. But before we start, how was your Christmas, Conor?
It was pretty good. I got a lot of stuff. We are currently sitting in the new HQ.
The new headquarters for Cinema Vibes is pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
It's because Conor was the only one who had a room big enough to fit us.
Pretty much, to be honest. Yeah, it's it's coming together. To be honest, it's not totally.
It looks
finished.
really good in here. Eventually, the world will see it.
Since this is a podcast, no one can see what we're.
I know. We're explaining the room. Well, there's walls and there's a window and
there's some posters.
Some posters in this computer. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was pretty good. How about yours?
It was all right.
All right. What'd you get?
I bought a car, so I guess that I don't know if that's technically a Christmas present or what, but nonetheless, that was kind of like the highlight of my holiday. Got a few movies, I guess. I got yesterday and Far From Home. That was pretty cool. Got a lot of gift cards and stuff, and as you get older, Christmas just kind of it's not really about you anymore. It's about younger kids. So at least that's what I'm learning in my experience.
I'm learning that as well. So.
Shut the fuck up. All right. There's our intro. So, 2019 overall, Conor, what did you think of the year in movies for this year?
It's up there. Honestly, for probably one of the best years of the decade for film. I think it's that 2014. I think 2017 was also another really good year.
What year did was La La Land and Nice Guys 2014?
I know. I think that was
Mad Max. That was 2015.
That was 2015.
So that was like my favorite in a long time. Was that one? Those three movies.
But no, overall, I mean, this decade has had some pretty bad years for film.
Yeah.
But also, like mainly, it's been some really good years.
That's to say, I think we've always been. I think since like the 2000s, we've been in like
an upward.
Well, like in the golden age and like a new golden age of film. So I think for the last 20 years, we've seen some absolutely incredible movies, and like independent films have been on the rise the last 20 years, and it's more and more it's like people are not drawn to like the blockbuster anymore. People are more drawn to like the filmmakers with their own unique voice as opposed to the big studio films. But the big studio films still make money, but now people's tastes are changing, and that showed with this year with all the movies that are coming out, and how people just wanted to see something different. Because on our list, I think I've seen Conor's list. Conor hasn't seen mine. There isn't a lot of big studio movies on our list.
I think there's
except
one.
For me, I think there's like two. I guess
there's one for me. There's one. And for those listening, will probably guess what it is. Probably.
Yeah, me too.
But no, I saw 58 films this year.
I still haven't done mine count, but I think I got Conor beat.
Yeah, I mean, I saw mainly a lot of good ones. There were a lot of bad ones that I saw, including The Fanatic.
I didn't even finish that. Conor popped it on one night. He's like, "Oh, this will be fun," and we were just bored. Just like, this is just not fun to watch. So we were like, "Can we do something else?"
No, honestly, the first line of dialogue is "I gotta poo." So
that's true. But Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems goes, "I'm gonna come." So like, that's a line. So like, if there's anything,
true, you know what?
That whole scene.
Well, two movies on the complete opposite of the spectrum, though.
Yeah, I guess that's true. All right. So, how do you want to do this? You do your 10 to 6. I'll do my 10 to 6. We'll discuss in the middle, and then we'll go 5 to 2, 5 to 2, and then we'll each say our number one, and we'll discuss.
I was thinking more of a format where I would choose my 10, and if wherever your stance is on that one, we could just talk about it, and then we can move down.
I don't know. I feel like I feel like it might be easier just to do 10 to 6. Your 10 to 6, and then we'll discuss in the middle. Yeah. And then I feel like that is a more enjoyable listen.
Okay.
For people. Right. So I think that's what we should do. So I'm gonna give Conor the floor. Conor, so 10 to 6. If you have any honorable mentions, start with them. Each of us have a few of them. So yeah, I'll give you the floor. Go ahead.
I do have 6 honorable mentions that did not make it in my top 10, and I think these 6 honorable mentions are good enough to make it into anyone's top 10. Just for me, they were slightly not good enough. So I have Ford v Ferrari, which has Christian Bale and Matt Damon. I didn't get as much enjoyment out of it as most people did. I've seen this film in the top 5 for a lot of people. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was fun. Dolomite Is My Name. Eddie Murphy comes back with a slam dunk of a performance. Jojo Rabbit, which I absolutely adored. Didn't even think I would adore that as much.
I just want to let people. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let you have the entire floor, and then.
No, I mean you can step in.
Yeah, but I'm not. I feel like that interrupts it. So because I want you to have the entire floor and let you say what you want. All right. You got the floor. It's all yours, man.
I also have The Farewell, directed by Lulu Wang. It has Awkwafina in it. Awkwafina, I think will get nominated.
I am going to interject once. Awkwafina is amazing in anything, so I just want to say
You didn't see it.
No, but have you seen Jumanji?
Yes.
No, the new one.
No.
She's in the new one.
She's in the new one. She's
the best part about the whole movie.
Wow. Okay. Well, no, The Farewell is really good. I honestly think that it was beautifully shot for a directorial debut. It's based on a real life experience. Yeah, I think Awkwafina should easily get a nomination for the role. I think she's really good. And now Last Black Man in San Francisco is easily the most beautifully shot film of the year. There are some shots in this film where I was questioning how a certain frame was shot or how this even came together. There's one shot where the camera is on a rocket or something and it's thrown and it's attached to the rocket.
Yeah, that was a nice thing.
And it hit the kid in the head, and I don't know how they got the shot.
That was a beautiful movie.
It really was. And then this is gonna be controversial. Oh boy, Joker is not in my top 10.
It's not in your top 10. Oh, I can't say
it is not. I think Joaquin Phoenix's performance is stellar. I think him and Driver are easily the two to battle that out for best actor. And I mean, I think the movie's kind of a reskin of Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. In my opinion, it just doesn't fit in the top 10 for me. But I enjoyed it nonetheless.
These are our own lists. This is our own opinion.
Yes.
Everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Yes.
Feel free when this goes up to talk about your guys' favorite top 10 and what you guys think of our list. So, Connor, what's your number 10?
Avengers Endgame. Honestly, it's a culmination of all these movies, and I left the theater so satisfied. Robert Downey Jr. steals the show in his last outing as Iron Man. Spoilers for those who haven't seen it.
Do not spoil it.
I mean, the movie's been out for a while now. I know. But no, it's fantastic. Satisfying to no end. That end battle scene is incredible. I remember in the theater, people actually were like yelling and screaming. So it was probably the best theater experience of this year. So
I'm glad you had a nice theater experience for that.
I know you had a terrible.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah. So my number 9 is Rocketman, which went under many people's radars, and you'll agree with that 100%.
Uh-huh.
It did not get enough attention, and it gained a little momentum this month, but then kind of slowed down again. Taron Egerton should get a nomination. I don't think he will. He's just unlucky that he's in the middle of this fantastic year of film in general to just get lost in that wave of fantastic male performances. And honestly, the music, the cinematography, the editing, all brilliant. And it's not your classic biopic, and it's just really good. I had a great time with it. Yeah, so number 8 is Booksmart, which this movie
awesome.
Made me laugh, and I think it's one of the most quotable movies of the year.
It is the most quotable movie of the year.
Absolutely.
I shouldn't be talking, but I guess we kind of threw that out the window. That movie's amazing.
It is.
It's
so much fun.
Yeah.
It really is. Olivia Wilde directed it, which is so surprising because I don't find her a great actress at all.
What a directorial debut for her.
Oh my God, it's gotten so much tracking. Like, it blew up the second half of the year.
I would not be surprised if that movie got nominated for Best Picture. I'm just saying, especially.
I don't think so.
I think especially the recognition it's getting at the Globes. It's getting a lot of recognition at the Globes.
Globes is different though. Globes will nominate anyone.
True, but I'm just saying.
Unfortunately, I think the only chance it has at a nomination is Best Original Screenplay, which I think that could happen.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, but no, honestly, it's so fun. Caitlin Dever.
And Benny, what's her last name?
Beanie Fieldstein.
Beanie. Oh,
who is Jonah Hill's sister.
You wouldn't even know. She's amazing in the movie. They both are.
The chemistry between them is like insane. It's nuts. It's like ours.
It's so funny. Conor and I have been quoting it since we saw it.
Yeah, we saw it together too. It was so good.
It's so good.
I have my number 7 is The Lighthouse. I know you didn't like it. Or what's your opinion?
We'll talk about it later.
All right. Well, The Lighthouse, it has Robert Pattinson and William Dafoe, and it's about 2 people living on a rock in a lighthouse. That's all I can say, because you just need to go see this and witness it, because it is crazy. It's nuts. Had me on the edge of my seat. The score is amazing. I was freaked out by it. Honestly, the cinematography, how it's like this 9x5 square, black and white on 35mm film, makes the experience so much better. I don't think if that was in color, I don't think I would have loved it as much.
What's your number 6?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's
Whoa, I thought it would be higher.
No, Tarantino, man. I honestly love this movie more and more every time I watch it. Brad Pitt's performance is crazy.
He's amazing in that.
He's a lock for Best Supporting Actor. He's so good in it. The cinematography is really good, and the fact that Tarantino was able to build this world, transport you back to the 60s.
Yeah, he did a really good job.
Prime LA scene. I watching the behind the scenes on the Blu-ray, the amount of work that had to go into it. They got offered the original Manson car.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
But they didn't take it because that's.
I think they should have.
Why?
It's Tarantino. Why does he care? He's never cared about it before. So why? I mean, he's never cared about pushing buttons.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Ruffling feathers.
But no, honestly, it's just watching the behind the scenes was nuts. The amount of work that was put into it and the people involved with the film, from the behind the camera to in front of the camera, the cameos, the dialogue. It's different Tarantino, but I loved it. It's so good. Jared, what is your number 10?
10 to 6. So Connor has no idea what my list is.
I don't. You've seen my list multiple times.
So right before we started, Connor's like, "You have a list?" And I was like, "Oh shit!" All right, give me 20 minutes.
So I kind of threw it.
You kind of threw me on the spot here. So this may change later, but as of right now, this is my list. So I have a few honorable mentions as well. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about them. A couple of them I might, but I'm going to try to get through the honorable mentions as fast as possible. Glass, Last Black Man in San Francisco, It Chapter 2, Missing Link, Spider-Man Far From Home, Fighting With My Family, Toy Story 4, Blinded by the Light, and Western Stars, which really killed me to not put those on.
What a surprise both of them are on there.
Yeah, I know. I really wanted to.
Not one of them made it on this top
because
10.
there was 10 other movies I liked more. And then the last 2 that I really, really loved but didn't make it was Midsummer. Really, really loved that movie. And Joker did not make my list either. Nothing against Joker. I think Joker is a wonderful movie. I think that
this film.
I think there was just 10 other movies that I liked more.
This year has been insane, though. That's the thing.
It's so hard. Years prior, there's been a clear cut. For
top
me,
10.
Top 10. For me, there's a clear cut number 1, but the rest of it is very all over the place. Not in a good way.
And that's the thing for the Oscars. Ooh, excuse me. The Oscars this year, how many movies are they going to take? Are they going to do the full 10?
I think they should.
There's enough. I think they'll do 9, if anything.
I have one more honorable mention that just came to my head. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Because it's not on my list because I've only seen it once and I need to see it again, so they may end up in my top 10 later. But that's another one that I have to mention. I dug that movie. I know a lot of people are probably going to hate me for that. It's fine. Whatever. I thought it was awesome. All right. Number 10. You can't look at it.
I'm not going to look.
He's not looking. Number 10 is A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
I still haven't seen it.
Love this movie. As soon as it starts, you're instantly transported into Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood because it's this isn't a spoiler, but it's filmed like the whole movie it's filmed like a episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. So you have all like the cheap setup, the cheap the toys, and it's not trying to insult the audience's intelligence. Like dude, this movie needs to be seen by more people. I think it's so good, and not just because of Hanks's performance, but of the lead. I think his name is Matthew Rhys. I think. Reese, thank you. He is equally as good. Like it's his movie, all thick and through.
And not many people knew that.
No, it's his movie. It's 100%. It's his story, and he does an incredible job of portraying this broken man who wants to be fixed. And one of the scenes of the year takes place in a diner with Mr. Rogers and Matt's character, and it's an emotionally powerful scene. So if anybody has not seen that movie, they should. It's wonderful. Number 9, Jojo Rabbit. What a surprise.
What a surprise is right. Oh my God.
I love this movie so much. I saw it with my good friend Mike, and I wasn't sure what to expect.
Because it's like, think about it.
We live in such a weird time because it's like 20 years ago, I don't think a movie like this would have ever been made. But because we live in a time where
3 years ago, this movie wouldn't.
Right, but Taika Waititi, who writes
Breaking Down Barriers.
Yeah, who writes and directs this movie. I mean, he does it. He
also
loves
stars.
he stars. Hold on, he likes to ruffle feathers, and this movie is definitely one of those films that's ruffling feathers.
Yep.
The two lead kids. I only know the one.
Roman
girl.
Griffin Davis.
He's amazing, and then Thomasine McKenzie, who was in Leave No Trace. She was incredible in that movie. She's so good. She's terrific in this movie. The writing, the dialogue is honestly the star of the show. Everything feels natural. The jokes are great. There's so many memorable lines, and obviously Taika playing Adolf Hitler is just ridiculous. But it's so funny. It's so believable.
As soon as he comes on screen, it's just like, okay, I'm okay with it.
It's believable. But actually, not even the kids. Kids are great. Taika's great. But I actually think the best performance in this film is Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, 100%.
I think she has to convey so many different emotions as the mom of the young boy, and I mean, every time she comes on screen, you have a huge smile on your face, and it has one of the most devastating scenes all year.
Well, no, I'm going to touch on another scene. There's a scene where she is not advocating. She's pretending to be his father.
What a great scene!
That is like,
and at first he seems like kind of like, what the hell are you doing? But then as she's doing this whole thing,
you can see the emotion.
He's clicking. It's clicking in his head. He's like, oh, I see what she's doing. Wonderful scene.
It's a great scene. She's so good in it.
Jojo
nomination.
Rabbit. I hope for her. Probably not for this. Probably for Marriage Story, which I haven't seen.
Yeah,
but
she'll get one for Marriage Story.
I think that one will be the. I think that one's easier for people to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Instead of Jojo Rabbit.
This one's definitely had its slow kind of fizzle out. It's lost a lot of momentum.
I think it's still so good. I mean, that the movie, it's almost like two different movies that he meshed. So he meshed like the first half is like this coming of age funny movie, and then the last half is this serious World War II drama that meshes in comedy. So it's like it's so interesting how he's able to mesh so many different genres together. Have the end product be as good as it was.
I saw a lot of comparisons to Wes Anderson, which I can understand, but at the same time, this is like this is Waititi. This
is Taika all the way through. The way he tells stories, the way he does dialogue is unlike anybody else out there, in my opinion. So JoJo's number 9. Number 8. Stop looking. Number 8 is Knives Out. Knives Out was a movie that I was so interested to see because I'm a huge Daniel Craig fan, and the moment he comes on screen and he has this weird accent, I still don't know what it is. Is that what it is? I still don't know what it is. But anyways, it's so good. This movie is
twists and
funny.
Turns.
It's a whodunit. Like, there's not a lot of movies that are being made like this. Ryan Johnson behind the camera and in the writing.
This is like the perfect comeback for the controversy and the overall like hate that he got for Last Jedi. I think this is the perfect comeback because universally this is loved by pretty much everyone.
It made money.
It's made.
I hope he sees sequel because I think this isn't spoiling anything, but it leaves the door open if they wanted to do another one.
By the way,
characters
this weekend it crossed $200 million.
Knives Out did?
Yeah.
Kudos. Movie's great.
That's
this movie's for everybody.
You can.
Like anybody can watch this movie and have a good time.
Just don't go with your family.
Yeah, because it might ruin the family.
Cause some.
You guys would be like, oh, this is like my family. Yeah, that's funny. What's her name? Ana de
Armas.
She was in Blade Runner. I'm a huge Blade Runner 2049 fan. And she is, and I mean is, the star of the show.
I love.
This is her movie. Take Daniel Craig's great. Chris Evans is great. Everybody else is really, really good in this movie, but it's thickened through her film.
100%. And I love the ongoing joke that we don't know where she's from. I heard Paraguay, Venezuela, Brazil.
Oh yeah, everybody has like a different. Yeah, everybody has a different version of where she's from. And there's this ongoing gag throughout the movie with her where she can't lie because if she lies, she throws up.
It's great.
It's a joke.
It's so weird.
But it's a joke, but it's her character. So everybody's written so great. Ryan Johnson does a great job of having everybody.
His dialogue.
It's great. And everybody has their own quirks. Everybody has their own personality. No two people feel the same. And I think that's in a movie like this, you need that. So that way anybody can be the suspect. And I think that to me that makes for a really, really entertaining movie. And this is one of the most entertaining movies of the year.
100%. And the cast.
Yeah, the cast is great. Absolutely. All right, that was my number 8. Number 7, Shazam.
Wow, really?
I could not tell you how big of a smile I had on my face when I walked out of the initial screening for this movie. I have never seen a superhero movie, or I shouldn't say that. I haven't seen a superhero movie in a long, long time that I had as much fun in as I did with Shazam. And that has large part to do with Zach Levi. He's incredible as his character. Mark Strong was great as the villain. The directing by David F. Sandberg. He also
check him out on YouTube.
He also did Lights Out. So like Lights Out is a great movie, and he does this movie so well. The comedy. Oh my God, the comedy in this movie is so good.
The kid actors. I mean, Jack Dylan Grazer.
He's awesome.
I love him and everything that he's in.
He's never had a bad performance in here. And then the kid who plays Billy Batson. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he was great. But there's this whole obviously this is a superhero comedy, but this is also another coming of age movie where we see Billy trying to fight stuff within him. He's fighting this constant internal battle with himself, and I think that to me that makes for a really great movie. Do you have his name?
Yeah, Asher Angel.
He's great. He's so good in this movie. The movie has
he's
a great
a Disney star.
Oh, he's a Disney Channel guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. He has that face.
He does.
That they're looking for.
He does.
He has that Disney face. But no, the writing's great. The family aspect, I think, to me is really what stands this movie out from the bunch. There's just almost like camaraderie, and
it goes full circle.
Yeah, at the end, it has one of the best climaxes of the year, and I really, really love this movie so much. I think it's honestly one of the best superhero movies of the year, and honestly one of the best movies of the year. So there's that. So now my number 6, what I put? It's a little bit lower than I think most people would have anticipated, but Avengers Endgame is at number 6. It is the culmination of 20 years, like Connor said. 20. Would I say 20 years? 10 years.
20 years.
I'm thinking. I don't know what the hell I was thinking of. 10 years.
Well, I mean, there's like what 23 movies now.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of. 20 years. The hell am I smoking? No, it's the culmination of 10 years of movie, but it's also this is the best payoff movie ever. Where every other Marvel film has always felt like a giant setup movie.
This just is.
This does not. This is
satisfying. Yeah,
it has This feels like the finale of something, and that's why I love this movie so much. The action scenes were great. The emotion was there.
Remember that line from I don't know, Captain America: Civil War or something? Oh yeah, that's brought up in this line or in this movie.
Yeah, everything's tied up. Yeah, there's no loose ends.
There's really not.
Everything is tied up, and they do a great job of giving every character their time to shine. Yes. Everybody gets their moment. Everybody from obviously from Iron Man all the way to fucking the Wasp. Like everybody's got their moment, and to me, I think that's the best. That's the brilliance of this movie is that it jumbles so many characters and it does it in such a great way. And I really, really love this movie. I have a question
for you.
Sure.
If the MCU ended with this movie, would you be okay with that?
100%. I was okay with the MCU ending with Spidey with Far From Home, because I think that if they never, or you know what, actually let me take that back. Sorry, I'm gonna take that back. In my head, it sounded better than it did coming out. No, but Endgame, 100%. I think if they would have ended it with that, because I've heard people that I've talked to personally that have said, "Look, I may never watch another Marvel movie again."
See, I'm not gonna go that far, but I won't.
Which is because of the finality.
I won't follow the MCU the same. Like right now, this little break that they have, I'm enjoying it.
It's good.
It's a nice break.
They need a break.
Honestly, I feel so fulfilled from Endgame and even Far From Home that I really don't need to see another Marvel movie. I've seen the stories that I need to see.
Right.
I saw the culmination that I wanted to see, and I'm so satisfied with the way it ended. I'm not going to look at the MCU the same way. I
agree, and I think what they're doing next is really smart. So they're going to do the one character that everybody's been wanting to see in their own movie in Black Widow, which is next, and then they're going to do basically the rest of the movie, the rest of the phase is all new characters.
These quick little couple movie phases. They're going to be like 4 movies a phase now from here on out, and then they're going to build it up again, and then we'll just go from there.
I mean, the formula's working. It's still working.
Clearly.
Spider-Man, all 3 Marvel movies that came out this year, all made over $1 billion.
Even Captain Marvel,
which Connor doesn't like, but I really dug Captain Marvel.
By the way, I'm just gonna point out that Captain Marvel made more money in 2 weekends than Star Wars did in 2 weekends.
That's true, but there's also a difference there.
Nuts. That is insane.
It's insane. But I mean, that's a different topic for a different day.
Yeah.
But all in all, Avengers Endgame feels like the culmination of something, and it feels like it's done a really, really stellar job of ending this saga.
Yeah.
Awesome movie. Thanos is a badass. Love this movie so much.
Yeah. So I think now that we're in our second half of our list, we're gonna take a short little break. We'll be right back. Yeah. Hey everyone, this is Connor Van Sice from the Cinema Vibes podcast.
What are you doing?
So right now I'm wearing a earbud, and it's really tripping me out because I can hear your voice and my voice, and it sounds like I'm talking really slow.
I couldn't do it because it felt like everything was in slow.
But no, this is just a quick announcement about the film Crying is Okay Here. For those not able to attend the premiere on Thursday, January 2nd, 7:30, I will be posting the full movie up on the YouTube page come Monday around 7. So look out for that. I'm super excited to release it and to show it to everyone. So yeah.
This is going to be fun. I'm eating an apple.
Jarrod's eating an apple. What a surprise. Apple Part 3 coming soon.
All right, now back to the show. Welcome
back. We're back.
Knock on wood.
You owe me a Coke.
No, I don't owe you nothing. Welcome back to the Cinema Vibes podcast. This is the latter half of Connor and I's top 10 list of the year. We each did our 10 to 6. Discuss it. Here we are doing our 5 through 2, each of us. We're going to go back forth, and then we'll discuss them, and then at the very end, we'll each say our number 1, because I know what yours is, but I don't know. You don't know what mine is, so I'm very curious to see.
I don't know what yours is.
Yeah.
It's completely honest.
It's pretty obvious, but because whatever. Anyways, Connor's going to start. Connor, what is your 5 through 2? Go ahead. The floor is yours. I'm not going to talk.
Well, we already talked about my number 5. And it was Knives Out. We already talked about it. I mean, it's so much.
Give us your thoughts.
It's just so much fun, honestly. Daniel Craig. It takes a while to get used to his accent, seeing he's British. You're so used to seeing him be this serious character in James Bond. Ana de Armas is scene stealing, brilliant. The jokes, the cast, I love how Jaden Lieber from It is in the movie for like 50 seconds.
He's barely in the movie. He barely has any lines.
Half the time he's on his phone.
Yeah, and they like put him in the fucking in the trailers and stuff. Like, oh, he's in the movie. He's barely in the fucking.
I love that.
It's like whatever. I don't know if that's a joke or what.
Well,
no, he's never.
I love the joke that he's like an online Nazi.
Yeah, he's a. What did he say? He's a
left-wing activist.
He's a left-wing socialist Nazi. That's his whole thing. It's great.
Yeah, but it's so much fun, honestly. I just caught it last week. I've been wanting to see it. It's one of the few movies that I had to see coming or leading up to today. So, my number 4, if you haven't seen it, The Irishman.
I've seen about an hour of it.
It's 3.5 hours long.
Well, from when I saw it, was really good.
It's it's Scorsese. It's a mob movie. It's fantastic. The fact that he was able to get De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci. Oh my god.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna explain to everyone what just happened. So Jarrod was eating an apple. As you may have known if you were listening to the break. Oh my god. So he was eating his apple and he knocked over a glass of iced coffee that was on a tray behind the desk. And now it's all over the floor. So I'm gonna pause it for a second because this is a mess. We'll be right back.
All right. Sorry about that. So what happened was, Connor already explained it, but I'm going to give you my side. So Connor's sitting here talking about The Irishman, right? I take a bite of my apple. I take the smallest bite of all time so it doesn't get picked up on the mic. And then Connor and I start laughing. I set my apple down and I hit the fucking tray behind us with my palm. And then the fucking coffee goes flying. It goes, and we just listened back to what happened, and all you heard was us laughing. Oh man, that's the greatest moment in this whole podcast history.
It really is. It's a defining moment because we've just lost all of our viewers.
Everybody's like, all right, we don't want to listen to these fools talk about spilling coffee and eating apples for fucking 40 minutes. Anyways, Connor's number 5 was the Irish.
Number 4.
Oh, number 4. Oh, he's number 4. This apple's cursed. I'm not even going to do it now. I have the apple in my hand.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start after that.
Honestly, I went and got myself another cup.
So, yeah, The Irishman has De Niro, Pesci, and Al Pacino.
We got to get through it.
All right. No, I mean, the cinematography is really good. The acting is, of course, superb. They're all A-listers, even from, like, background characters, like Bobby Cannavale. Anna Paquin's in it for, like, a minute. She does pretty good.
Oh, really? She's in it? I didn't know she was in it.
The youngest ever actress to win the Oscar. She was, like, 12.
For what movie?
I don't even remember.
Wasn't that notable?
Yeah, it's really good. The last half hour is brilliant. There's some of the best lines of the year. The last 30 minutes is like the best depiction of life in a film in a very long time that I've seen. Honestly, it's beautiful. It really is.
From what I saw, so again, I only saw about an hour and 10 minutes of the movie. It was really good from what I saw.
So my number 3. Uncut Gems.
Hey!
So me and Jarrod saw this last night.
So we're filming it, or we're recording this on a Monday.
Yeah.
We saw it last night.
Sunday night.
We saw it on December 29th. Today is December 30th.
I don't even know where to start with this. This is like sensory overload for like anyone.
It's a fucking ride.
Like a lot of people hate this movie, by the way, and I'm not surprised because it's like not for everyone. But here's the thing, that it's so loud, and while a conversation is happening in a scene, there's background conversation happening on top of that. And what's so brilliant about this is everyone's trying to talk over each other like it's real life.
Yeah, nobody's listening to each other.
Yeah, and that's everyday life. Mm-hmm. But honestly, it's brilliant. The Safdie brothers know how to craft a crazy non-stop joyride.
Yeah, it feels just like Good Time, but in the best possible way.
I think it's better than Good Time, personally.
Agreed.
Honestly, Sandler is unbelievable. You can tell it's him, of course, because he has the Sandler aneurysms and everything. But his performance is like there's a cutoff to where you don't know it's him. He becomes Howard Ratner.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just he deserves a nomination. I really don't think he'll get one, but he fully deserves one.
I think he deserves one, and then the cinematography does, and then the writing team does.
Oh yeah, 100%. This has been in development for like 12 years.
No, he was offered the role what in like 04?
No.
03 or something like
2008.
It was around there, right? Yeah, I think this was that's when the idea
started. The film takes place in 2012. So originally they had Amari Stoudemire instead of Kevin Garnett. And then it was Joel Embiid. And then they contacted Kevin Garnett again. Who, by the way, is superb.
Kevin Garnett really is good. You know what's funny? So you didn't hear this, but somebody afterwards, Connor had to go to the bathroom. I was waiting outside of it, and this one lady was talking. I don't know who she was talking to, but she was like, he was a basketball player, and the one guy's like, yeah. She's like, I had no idea he was really good. And I was like, that was the general consensus from a lot of people.
But here's the thing: like, he's playing a fictional version of himself from 2012,
which is
so hard.
To be able to channel that, kudos to him.
Yeah, and I mean, Julia Fox is in her first movie. I researched where she's from. I don't think she did what we talked about. I don't think so. I think I got that mixed up with someone else.
So I'm gonna let the world know. Can I say it?
No. Because I'm going to be really embarrassed.
Want me to say I said it?
No. Because someone's listening to it right now.
Well, come on. Who cares?
Whoever listened to this, whoever got it to this point.
Who cares?
Fine.
Okay, so Connor thought that she was a porn star.
Well, okay, so am I wrong to assume that? Because she kind of looks like one. I mean, come on.
I don't know how some people are going to think that.
No offense, but she's really good.
She's great.
She's super good in it. Adina Menzel is...
She's barely in it.
I thought she was pretty good. But the standouts are like the people that are really no names. Because a lot of the people in this movie are no names. Like the mob people. His one family member who was in the mob. Which is not a spoiler. Because it's in the trailer.
It is in the trailer. It's in the trailer that he's a part of the family?
Yes. Because there's a scene in one of the trailers where they show the Passover meal and he's there.
Okay, you better hope so, because some people are going to be really pissed at you if it's not.
Sorry, if it's a spoiler, I disregard everything I just said. But no, it's really good. It's really good. And it should get more attention. And it made like 20 million so far, which is amazing for a independent film.
Yeah, Connor said, it's interesting because you made that comment, and I was like, I feel like there's been a couple exceptions to that rule.
Like
La La Land.
I mean, that's not...
Midsummer?
Well, Midsummer didn't make a ton of money. And also, he was already established. Ari Aster already had a following.
But to be fair, Sandler helps.
That is true, because
he's
he'll go
a draw.
out of his way to, like, fully go out there and do interviews and everything.
He's still a draw. People forget that. His movies are still a draw. He still makes money. His worst of the worst still make money.
Honestly, and he gets a bad rap. He's a great actor.
Punch Drunk Love. Punch Drunk, whatever I say, punk. What did I say?
And Meyerowitz stories.
Reign Over Me. Spanglish.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of really good stuff.
He's a great actor.
Mm-hmm.
So my number 2. Oh my god. Parasite.
It's not number 1?
No, you'll understand why.
I thought it was number 1. Go ahead.
So the Holy Trinity is the top 3 for me. Like there's a certain cutoff from the top 3.
So do you mean like each of them can be interchangeable?
Yes. So Uncut Gems, Parasite, and my number 1, which I'm not going to say yet, can all interchange. Any of them can be in any order. Parasite for the longest time was actually my number 1. This movie is insane. It feels like it's directed by 5 different people with 5 different genres, but it works. And it's a Korean foreign film.
Yeah, and it all comes together at the end.
Oh, the last shot of the film is brilliant. It's fantastic. The performances are great. Bong Joon, I'm going to butcher his name. I do it every time. But Bong has another hit. By the Sands.
I agree.
Honestly, he did Snowpiercer. He did Memories of Murder. He did Okja, which I just watched the other day, which is fantastic. And this should honestly win Best Picture. And right now it's the front runner. It really is the front runner to win Best Picture.
Do you think it will win Best Picture?
Personally, I wanted to, but
That's
like
a conversation
Roma,
for.
So I want to use an example. Roma last year was the front runner going into the final week.
Yeah,
and even the day.
Yeah, but then Green Book.
Then Green Book. So any movie at this point could win it, honestly. Because this is just like no one knows at this point. Because movies have momentum, then they lose it, then they get it. I would be perfectly okay with this winning Best Picture.
Is that all you got to say about Parasite?
I mean, I could go on. I could go on.
I mean, yeah, we really don't want to say anything too much.
Well, no, I could say everything, but you could I could spoil.
This movie could be interpreted in like 45,000 different ways.
No, honestly, I could tell you everything that happens in this film, and you could still go into it and think it's like one of the best films ever made. Because this is one of my favorite films of the decade and of all time. I love this film.
It's a great movie.
Honestly, it's great. It's fantastic. But Jarrod,
I like your list.
Thank you.
I think you got a. I'm surprised Uncut. I'm surprised Uncut wasn't 2.
No, you'll see why. Yeah, I'm gonna.
All right.
You'll know why.
5 through 2, right? Connor doesn't know.
What is your number 5?
My number 5 is Parasite.
Okay, so we saw this together.
So I wasn't all that excited. Not because I didn't think. How do you say his name?
Bong Joon-ho.
Not that I didn't think he wasn't talented, because Snowpiercer is awesome, but because I don't know. There's something about that. I liked the trailer, but I wasn't like.
You were confused by it.
I was like, all right, this doesn't really make a lot of sense. But once it started, once
it picks up.
Once it gets to like the 20-minute mark.
Oh, it picks up.
And then like it gets fucking insane, and
it
never stops. I mean, it's a little slow in the beginning, but it's not slow to where I'm not interested. It's just kind of like, all right.
You're always hooked.
You're always hooked. The writing is great. The performances are fantastic. The cinematography is awesome. The score is great. The finale is awesome. It's so
insane. It's great.
And yeah, it's not everything's, like I said before, you can interpret it in a couple different ways, but I still think that the ending, there's like really only like one clear cut way to like interpret that. But I think like the whole movie entirely, you can interpret it in a couple different ways. So Parasite was a fantastic film. Thank you, Connor, for recommending it, because otherwise I wouldn't have seen it if Connor didn't mention it. Yep. Number 4, this should come as no surprise. How to Train Your Dragon 3 was the best animated movie of the year. It's one of the best movies of the year.
So I was waiting because you love these movies so much. I didn't see it, but I was waiting for you to.
So it's number 4. It originally was at number 2, but then I had to push it back. So I think How to Train Your Dragon 3 is the best animated film in years. The reason being is because there hasn't been another. So Toy Story 4 came out this year, and I loved Toy Story 4, but it was on my honorable mentions. So the reason why I had How to Train Your Dragon 3 was because I felt that How to Train Your Dragon 3 hit a little bit harder, and I thought that the story's a little bit more personal, and I thought that the stakes were higher, and I think that the family drama is great, the animation is downright gorgeous, the message that it's sending is great, and it has an incredible finale, and I love these movies, and I think these movies are super underrated. This is honestly one of the best animated trilogies.
It's
maybe
overlooked.
One of the best.
It's very
overlooked. It's very overlooked. One of the best trilogies. Period. Not just animated,
I have a question.
Live action or animated. It's amazing. I love them. Go ahead.
Question. So, do you think it's better than Spider-Verse?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, that's a topic for another day. We're gonna have to make a whole.
I do. I think it's better than Spider-Verse. But maybe I'm just being a little bit biased. But that's.
I think you're being a little bit biased.
But that's fine.
I will respect it.
That's fine. How to Train Your Dragon 3 was one of the best movies of the year. And it is the best animated movie of the year. There's another one. Number 3 is Booksmart. Love this movie so much. It's
so much fun.
It was one of my most anticipated films of the year, and it had one of the best trailers of the year.
It had such a hot start too, coming out of festivals.
Yeah, everybody was talking about it. It's still really highly rated.
And no one. Well, here's the thing: at the beginning of the year, when we saw it, no one had seen it. It made no money.
Right. It wasn't until word of mouth.
Yeah, and then it just started passing around, and everyone's seen it now. I've talked to multiple different people about it.
It'll go down as like a teen comedy classic.
Oh, it's gonna be a cult classic for sure.
It's so funny, and the dialogue's great.
The performances
are fantastic. The ballsiness of Olivia Wilde in the director's chair. I mean, this movie does take some risks.
It's so unique. Like
It has its own voice.
Or the animation.
There's an animation scene, and it's one of the best scenes of the year. It's probably the best scene in the whole movie.
It's so unique because it catches you off guard.
It's so out of left field, but it's so funny. It's my favorite line from that whole movie came from that scene, and she said, and Caitlin Dever says the line, "Well, geez, this ass just don't quit." And it's just the way that she delivers that line is so ridiculous. I love this movie. It's the best comedy in years. That's why Booksmart's at my number 3. You don't know what my number 2 is.
I don't know what your 2 is, but I know what your 1 is.
Number 2.
What is it?
Ready? Uncut Gems is number 2.
Wow. Okay.
I really, really loved this movie. I let it sit for a bit.
A whole night.
The whole night. But really, I let it sit. I was like, man, has there been any other films besides my number 1 where I walked out of going like, that was a fucking ride, and like I loved every second.
It
had
you
no
so
problems.
engaged.
Yeah, this movie is directing perfection. It's performance perfection. It's editing perfection. It just Sandler. Conor made a good point. Sandler's in the beginning. You're like, all right, we're looking at Sandler, and then there's a certain point in the movie where it switches, and you're looking at Howard. You don't see Sandler anymore. You see this character that he's playing. And he is just, I mean, you're invested in every word he's saying.
And he makes so many dumb decisions, but you kind of feel for him because he doesn't know any better.
He doesn't know any better. This is what he does. This is how, the one line in the trailer, this is how I went. That's the best one. That scene is amazing. I love this movie. It is easily one of the best films of the year. No question about it. I was a little worried going in.
Off the back of Good Time because of how good that.
And I saw Good Time before Conor did, and I was like, Conor, you got to see this movie.
I didn't know who the Safdie brothers were until like last year.
And this movie, dude, this movie's so good.
The directing style of them, the close-up shots, the way that they just like zoom it in, it feels so atmospheric and it feels so like claustrophobic.
I was just gonna say that it feels claustrophobic, and the way that these guys build tension.
Oh, you're on the edge of your seat.
The moment it starts, it starts off a little slow, like the beginning, like it's setting up exactly.
In Ethiopia.
Yeah, in Ethiopia. So that's not really spoiling anything, but like it's telling you where something came from.
Yeah,
and it's giving you this. It's telling you the story. It's like, all right, this is where it came from. Remember this part because it's going to be important later.
It's going to go full circle.
Right, and the best. And even though it's not my number 1, it has the best climax of the entire year.
Oh, that entire end climax is like
it goes on for about a half hour.
I almost had a heart attack.
Like I'm in the back. I'm in the seat. We're in the back of the theater bracing for impact.
Honestly,
this thing never.
It was
ever
just
stops.
like I was in a trance throughout this entire movie. I would look away from the screen for one. I'm like, well, I'm in a theater right now. I'm surrounded by people. Like, I forgot I was in a theater.
There was this fucking guy. I don't know if you saw this, but there was this fucking guy like 4 seats ahead of us.
He checked his phone every once in a while.
And he checked his phone at the most important scene in the whole movie, and I almost threw a piece of popcorn.
Did it remind you of the Apes movie?
Oh, we'll talk about that a different day. That's a funny story for a different day.
No, it's so good, man. I love
Uncut Gems. I mean, you
need to experience
it's an experience. It's not even
it's a film.
It's a fucking roller coaster. This thing is a roller coaster ride in the best possible way.
And I'm kind of sad though. I heard someone say this. This is going to be the moment where the Safdie brothers step into the limelight and they step into
mainstream, baby.
Mainstream.
Get ready for their next movie because it's going to be just as great as this one.
No, I'm just saying it's going to be sad that I don't think they'll have the amount of freedom that they've always had. I mean, they're going to have unless
they stick with A24.
Yes, 100%. Which I don't know. I don't know if they'll do that. I think they might. A24 will do everything in their power to keep them on, but I mean, it's a thing that was bound to happen either way, that they were going to go into the mainstream. So,
I love this movie. Conor and I agree. What'd you think of my list so far? 5-2.
It's surprising. I mean, you knew my list. You've known my list for a while.
No one knows mine. But were you surprised that Uncut was as high as it is?
Yes, I was very surprised. Well, you didn't see a lot of the bigger like buzzed movies.
So yeah,
for
I want to
awards
clarify.
season.
So I haven't seen. I wrote this down. I haven't seen Irishman. I haven't seen Marriage Story. I haven't seen Waves. I haven't seen Little Woman. I've seen bits and pieces of Marriage Story. I've seen about an hour, and I haven't seen The Farewell. I haven't seen what else haven't I seen?
Honey Boy.
You haven't seen Honey Boy yet,
I
right?
haven't seen it.
Yeah, we haven't seen Honey Boy.
Totally forgot about it.
Haven't seen Peanut Butter Falcon.
Me neither.
So we haven't seen a lot of these like big
Little Women.
movies. Yeah, I said Little Woman. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of these like big buzzed-worthy movies. 1917 isn't in our area. Just Mercy isn't in our area. So like we haven't seen any of these movies. But like
for what we have, the lists are pretty good.
Yeah.
Your list is unique. A lot of the films I haven't seen on many people's lists, so
I think out of anybody in our group, I think and I'm not tooting my own horn or anything, but I think my list is probably the most diverse.
Yeah,
because
100%.
and I keep an open mind for pretty much any. I don't hate a lot of things, so like I try to keep as open minded of a head as possible because I think every movie has their own voice. So with a film like Shazam, which is on my list, with a film like Knives Out, or even fucking How to Train Your Dragon 3, which kind of was like, what? Like, no, it's really that good.
Let me tell you
So yeah.
my number one.
So number ones. Here we go. Connor, what is your favorite film of 2019?
Favorite film of 2019 is Marriage Story.
I figured this one.
Where do I start with this? This is just So I'll start off by saying the cinematography and the look of the film is nothing special. But
from what I saw, it was very bland.
It's very bland looking, but what drives this film is the performances. Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver steal the show. They are brilliant. They are fantastic. And there are multiple times where we kind of talked about this, where there are times you're on both people's sides, you're on one person's side, but then someone says something or makes a decision and then you're on the other person's side. And by the end of the movie, you feel bad that this has happened and it's gotten to this point. And it's at the point where, I'm not going to spoil it, I'm just going to say it's satisfying, but it's not satisfying. Because you feel so much, it builds up to this point where you're just so sad to see, what happened. And this, Adam Driver deserves an Oscar for it. He's been nominated a few times in the past couple of years. 100% he should get nominated.
Do you think this will be, because again, I've only seen about an hour. Do you think that he will win this year? So if we're being realistic, he's probably going to go up against Pitt, Joaquin.
No, Pitt's supporting.
Is DiCaprio technically the lead in that?
Yes.
Okay, so never mind. So do you think DiCaprio gets nominated?
I think DiCaprio gets nominated.
Okay,
I think it's a 2-horse race.
All right, so let's play that scenario. So he's going up, if we're naming the 5, Driver, Joaquin, DiCaprio.
De Niro's probably out.
No!
He didn't get nominated for Golden Globes. He's
True.
gotten snubbed.
So who are the other 2?
Jonathan Pryce.
Oh, for The Good Pope.
Or the two popes and Antonio Banderas.
I have seen that name thrown around. If that's the list, I would 100% hope that Driver gets it.
I think it's a 2-horse race at this point. I think it's between Joaquin and Driver. And I'm going to be completely honest, seeing that they gave Rami Malek the Oscar a couple years ago for Bohemian Rhapsody, I think they give it to Joaquin, even though Driver is the better performance overall compared to it's like
last year. In my opinion, I thought Cooper should have won. I think he gave the best. I think he gave the best. I think he absolutely, out of all I'd seen all the movies that got nominated for the actor, all the actors' performances last year, and I thought Cooper had the best performance.
I think this is a perfect comparison, Rami Malek and Bradley Cooper. This film isn't a movie. This is real life being played out. If you were to throw anyone,
that's what I've heard. I hear the dialogue.
You can't throw anyone else in this role. But if you just take away the camera and you just sit in the room with them, this is so believable that they're married, that they've had a relationship for so long.
Yeah, from what I saw, it was like holy shit.
It's so raw. There's this one scene. It's a shout. It starts out as like a nice little argument, and then it turns into a shouting fight, and it ends with like such emotion. And I've never seen Adam Driver with that much emotion in a film. And I made this joke during the film. He's more menacing in this movie than he is in Star Wars.
I've seen that comparison, like a fun little jab. Yeah. Driver is like the most underrated actor
working today.
He's so one of the most underrated. Yeah, I think he's so good. Like he was good in
Black Klansman.
Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of. Yeah, he was so good in Black Klansman. His comedic timing in that movie was amazing. So he can do everything. So I hope he wins, and I hope he gets nominated.
Honestly, I think this film is not being talked about enough overall. It's kind of slowed down in momentum because Parasite's taken the front. Like, Parasite has the most momentum out of any movie at the moment because all of a sudden now it's like people's favorite movie. But Marriage Story, I don't think it will win Best Picture. I think
it'll get nominated.
It will get nominated.
You realize Netflix is going to take 2 of those spots?
Netflix is going to
maybe 3 because the 2 Popes. That's a Netflix movie.
No, the amount of awards. I think Netflix overall in the Globes, for TV and film, got 34 nominations.
That should say something.
That is
insane. That means the industry needs to pay attention. These guys are here to stay.
Watch out for these streaming services.
They're killing it. Yeah. So, all right, ready?
Jarrod, what's your number one?
After long, hard thinking, my number one.
It's lasted this long.
It's incredible that I've had it on here this long. It's the Playmobil movie. It's an incredible movie. The animation is amazing. The story and the beats that it hits are just so wonderful. Did you really think that was going to be my number one?
It's so powerful.
It's such a powerful movie.
Like the emotion that I think his name is Joe, the main character in that movie, was like.
He's played by Daniel Radcliffe. No, that movie's absolutely
played
terrible.
by the great John Travolta.
Yeah, the fanatic. No, but I threw Connor completely off guard there. No, my number one obviously is Rocket Man. There is no other film this year that has lasted with me as long as this did. This, to me, will go down as one of the greatest musicals of all time. It will go down as one of the greatest biopics of all time. Taron Egerton, and it's a damn shame that he will most likely not get nominated for the Oscar nomination. I'm very happy that Rocket Man got love at the Globes. That made me very happy. Connor sent me that. He's like, Rocket Man got love, and I was very, very happy with that. And also got love at the Grammys too. So maybe that might help it.
It has a little momentum.
It's got a little bit.
But I don't think it has enough to get him a nomination.
I don't think so either, which sucks because in my opinion, I think he gives the best performance of the entire year. He is completely transformative in this film.
Oh,
you do not see Taron. You see Elton John. He is incredible. He sings all of his own music. You know, the movie throughout, you don't hear Elton's voice. You hear Taron's voice, like through all the songs. And
he actually sang the songs on like Rounding.
Yeah, I mean that's a debate for a different day, but like. Throughout, like Bohemian Rhapsody, you hear Freddie Mercury's voice. Mm-hmm. Throughout Rocket Man, you hear Taron's voice.
Which is so impressive.
Yeah, it was made very clear from the get-go that this was not going to be a movie where Taron imitates Elton. This was going to be a movie where Taron gives his own spin on Elton and makes it his own, and he 100% does that. From the great writing to the incredible musical numbers, particularly that Rocket Man scene. It's the scene of the year. From the supporting cast in Jamie Bell, he's amazing as Benny. His Bryce Dallas Howard gives a really, really good performance.
She's barely in it.
There's one scene where she tells Elton, "You will never be loved properly." That is
such a powerful scene.
Richard Madden's also really good in this movie.
I love that man.
He's so funny. I shouldn't say he's funny, but he's really, really good in this movie. It's one of the most rewatchable movies I've ever seen in my life.
I think I completely agree. It's a very rewatchable movie.
There's so many different things you miss.
If you haven't seen it.
But you know what's also interesting is that the soundtrack is different, which I love. So it makes the movie unique. The soundtrack is different than a piece of apple. The soundtrack is different from the movie, where the movie has so many more different musical beats and different just musical numbers and everything, where the soundtrack feels like it was recorded, but it's Taron's voice, but like in the movie, it plays out way different.
Yeah.
So it gives you a reason to watch.
There's no surprise that was your number one.
There's no surprise.
There's no surprise.
Fucking Dexter Fletcher, man. He does an incredible. The directing is and the editing and like everything. It flows so smoothly. And the I'm Still Standing scene at the end is just.
It's the icing on the cake.
The whole movie is amazing. I love this film so much. I will continue to love it. There's been no other movie this year that I've seen where I walked out with a big smile on my face than Rocketman. Amazing movie.
Those are top 10.
I'm gonna have Connor answer one question real quick before we go. What's your worst movie of the year? Name one.
So I haven't seen Cats.
Just name one.
So it's The Fanatic.
The Fanatic.
It's honestly it's the worst. So I'm just gonna quickly give a little background on this movie. This is directed by Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit.
There's a clear cut Limp Bizkit fucking.
There's a scene in the movie where he plays his own song in the movie.
He has the little character like, oh well, you like Limp Bizkit?
You want to hear a song? This is some nice.
This is some great Limp Bizkit, man. Like it's so.
You like a biscuit? That was the line.
You like Limp Bizkit? It's so obvious.
You like a biscuit?
It's so an obvious toot of his own horn.
It's the most meta thing I've ever seen.
It's so great.
Jarrod, what's the worst film you've seen this year?
The worst film I've seen this year? If Brian Dangler was here, he'd probably agree. It's probably The Kid. This is... It's awful. It's awful.
And the cast is pretty good, right?
It's Dave DeHaan, Ethan Hawke, Chris Pratt. It's directed by Vincent D'Onofrio. Is that how you say his name? D'Onofrio, is that how you say his name? He was Kingpin and Daredevil.
Yeah, D'Onofrio.
Yeah. Incredible actor. And he wrote the fucking thing, too, I think. And the movie's... It's terrible. It's an hour and a half of nothing. And nothing fucking happens in this boring-ass thing of a movie. And if Dangler was here, he would be like, I totally agree.
We need to get Brian on the podcast.
The worst performance out of the entire year was Dave DeHaan, because Dave DeHaan plays the same character in every fucking movie except for Place Beyond the Pines. That's the only movie I ever saw. I was like, he's good. Oh, and
Green Goblin.
Green Goblin. No, was that one weird
performance of the year?
Cure for Wellness. He was really good in that.
Green Goblin is the best performance of the decade.
Yeah, the entire decade. No, but that was so bad. The Kid. What a big ball of nothing. Once it gets interesting, it ends. It's an hour and a half of nothing. It's literally, the movie makes no goddamn sense. It's not coherent. The writing's all over the place. The action scenes are shit, and the movie is terrible. It's my worst movie.
So speaking of endings, the most wackiest ending of the year was Hobbs and Shaw.
By default, that should probably be the worst movie of the year, but it's not a bad movie.
It has the wackiest
fucking
ending.
Ridiculous.
It has the wackiest ending because they're like, what are they, on a cliff and they're talking, and all of a sudden it just ends.
All of a sudden, directed by the same guy who did Deadpool 2 and fucking Atomic Blonde. It was like directed by David Lynch. It was directed by David Lynch, and all of a sudden it just ends. And Connor and I literally,
we were like, wait, what?
Me, my buddy Mike, and Connor. We had another buddy John with us. They both, all three of them, just looked at me because my brain just fucking broke. I was like, this is the most ridiculous thing on the planet.
And the end credit scene go on for like an hour.
It goes on for 20 fucking minutes. This end credit scene, which makes no sense
at all.
You're trying to set up a sequel? Why do I care about a Hobbs and Shaw sequel? Because why? Because it makes fucking money. This thing is just not good. It's not a good movie.
I've set off Jarrod about Hobbs and Shaw.
That movie breaks my brain.
It does. It breaks my brain more than any other movie I saw this year.
An hour and a half into that fucking thing, I'm literally with my hand in my face. Both hands are like on my cheek, and I'm just in awe when I'm seeing. And my buddy John,
like you said, by default, this is like the worst movie of the year.
But it's so ridiculous. But then my buddy John looks at me. He whispers. He goes, "Jarrod, are you broken?" I was like, and I didn't even answer because I couldn't even hear anything else.
Oh my god! This year's been really good though. This year's been a really good year for film.
Well, it has been really good.
Are there?
Go ahead.
To end it off,
right.
are there a few movies that you're looking forward to in 2020? Because as of right now, the lineup is it's okay.
My most anticipated movie, there's two movies for me. Disney Pixar's Soul has the best, one of the best trailers for a movie coming out next year.
Yeah, I like that trailer.
I cannot wait. That movie looks absolutely beautifully told. And then by default, I guess we have to say 1917 and Just Mercy because those movies technically do come out next year, but they got really limited releases so they can be in Oscar contention. So probably those two. But my most anticipated movie of the year is No Time to Die, the new James Bond movie, because I'm excited for that movie to come back. What's yours?
Tenet.
Nothing happens in that fucking trailer.
I mean, everything goes backwards.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's Christopher Nolan. Come on.
I know.
My man has not made a bad movie.
No, he never has. I agree.
So, I mean, it's Tenet, and it looks sick, and the cast is nuts.
Cast is nuts.
And John David Washington, Robert Pattinson.
I'm so happy he's getting a big movie, John David Washington.
And Pattinson.
Well, hold on. John David Washington, because I wasn't that big of a fan of Black Klansman. I thought Black Klansman was a good movie, but I thought John David Washington steals that whole movie. He's so charismatic, and he's so believable, and he has this fantastic vibe about him. He has all this great energy. He's just like his daddy. So I'm very excited.
It's finally getting a big movie again.
What? What about the
Lighthouse? He
Lighthouse?
hasn't had a big movie.
You don't see the Lighthouse is yeah, that's kind of open. What's his last big one?
Twilight. Or no, wait. Yeah, Twilight, right?
Big movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. Anyways, Pattinson's gonna have a huge year next year. But yeah, so that is it for us. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Cinema Vibes podcast and listening to us drop coffee. His last big movie was Twilight. It's his last big movie. But yeah, so now he's getting another shot because he's such a good actor. But that's it. That was our Conor and I's top 10 favorite movies of the entire year. Great year for film, Conor. Conor, was there any movies that you didn't mention that you want to mention now?
Oh, not really. I mean, we went over a lot of films. We could go on for like 2 hours.
That's true.
Just the amount of great films that have came out this year. But definitely look out for Brian, Colin, and possibly Brandon's top 10 on the page. Mm-hmm. And I think we will be doing a few podcasts
with them. By the end of January.
By the end of January, of course, we're going to be doing the live stream
Oscars.
Of the Oscars.
Absolutely.
Second year running. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. It's been a pleasure, my friend.
It has been a pleasure. I'm gonna shake Conor's hand because it was a lot of fun. I'm also gonna irritate Conor and ruffle some feathers as we signal out of here. The most overrated movie of 2019 was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you later.
Bye, everyone.